Ignore all this endless content on YouTube with actual legitimate people talking about financial advice that actually has some legitimacy and trustworthy and weight to them.
Like Cowboy Cayman content. He's real good.
Thanks, Peeps. I appreciate that, man. It's a hell of an intro. Counts as an intro, right? I think so. Howdy, everyone. My name is Cowboy Cayman. Thanks so much for coming back to the channel. Today we have a really exciting one, and it's something I've took a little bit of time to make, as it's been a very good few weeks for me in the stock market, and I wanted to kind of show you guys what I'm invested in and why it's benefited me so much, and how you can replicate some of these results. Before we get into the actual meat and potatoes of today's episode, guys, I want to talk about just a few things to keep in mind when it comes to investing your very hard-earned money into the market, because I understand people can be hesitant. These are a few things to think about and keep in mind when it comes to buying stock, as they can potentially help you A, find a better deal, or B, minimize potential risk when it comes to investing money. The first, easiest, and simplest one to keep in mind, something that we've preached and harped on in this channel, is to look for dividends. Dividends are really the thing that helps you meet up your portfolio. It helps protect against recession. Slurring a little bit there, Beth. It helps protect against recessions, amongst a multitude of other things. Dividends are just the key to success when it comes to the stock market. ETFs that pay high dividends and model after the S&P 500 have been shown and proven to be one of the highest earning ETFs and or just stocks that you can buy into. Now you might be thinking, have people looked for those kind of stocks before? Ones that have offered dividends for so long and have consistently you're an idiot. Have consistently increased their dividend? Yes, they actually have. Matter of fact, you probably couldn't have guessed that.
And the Oscar goes to
me. The Oscar goes to me. Yes, people have in fact actually found stocks like this, and they are classified as blue chip stocks. You've probably heard me preach this on the channel before too. It's a company that's been well established for a long time. Companies like Johnson & Johnson, Procter & Gamble, Coca-Cola, Colgate. These are some of the most well-known examples of blue chip stocks, but they've consistently paid dividends for a very long time. They are some of the safest investments you can get into. And lastly, before we jump into my stock portfolio, I want to talk about something that's probably on the minds of a lot of you, is how can you know if this is a safe investment? There are certain stocks that are safer than others and carry a lot less risk. They mitigate this by maybe offering slightly lower returns you would make if you invest into something like Tesla, which is a very heavy growth stock and is poised for probably some large growth in the upcoming years. But how do you know if a stock is safe? One of the easiest ways to do so is just find out how long the company's been around. They've been around for 50, 60 years and have consistently risen in price in terms of their stock and have consistently paid dividends and increased them. This is one of the easiest ways to find a stock. Why would you put your money away if you're only going to be getting 1% returns? I think there's a falsehood of people actually thinking that's saving money. In the grand scheme of things, by the time inflation's incorporated over several years, you're not going to make much money, if any at all. You might actually lose something. I know that sounds really, really bad coming from a personal finance channel, but I say that very earnestly. I just think that there is a more practical way you can invest your money, and that is in the stock market. That being said, let me show you where my money is and how I think things are going to react over the next few months. Again, I am not a financial advisor. I'm just someone who studied the market for a long time, majored in finance, and have an absolute passion for everything that is investing. All that being said, don't forget to do your own research into these stocks. While they might be a good investment for me, they might not be a good investment for you. So now let's get into the actual meat of the video, what I'm invested in, and how I think mimicking some of these styles and investment opportunities could lead to some very, very strong growth from those that are bold enough to embrace it. The overall goal with this account was to see if I could turn a $2,000 investment into a $25,000 investment by the time it's all said and done. My goal here is to get this account to day trader status. So while the overall goal is to make it to $25,000, the beautiful thing is I've actually already taken out over $1,700 from this account to pay for rent and just some other utilities. And this is still what's left over from this last week. It's been an incredible month for me in terms of my overall output, and I think that generally mimicking some of these investment choices would be beneficial to those bold enough to take that jump. First off, we are met by this just beautiful number that is a massive week return. In about a 10-day span, we've made rent twice over and just had very, very good luck when it comes to how things have performed. So while it does say almost 3,600 at the top, that is slightly deceiving as that does not include the margin amount that I have invested. The overall market value of everything is a little over $6,100. I'm a very firm believer in using margin to help extend the potential gains you can make, because I confidently think I can beat the 5% interest rate that is charged per $1,000 of margin usage. So I firmly believe that for every $1,000 I can invest, I can at least get more than 5%. So anything that I make over that 5% range would be considered pure profit. And if you can get it, why not take advantage of it? So when we come back here, first off, we're met by options. I'm not going to touch on that in this video. That is far too complex to go into right now. And I am planning on doing that in a few videos down the line. It is something that I'm very passionate about, as I do it on a near daily basis, because a large percentage of my income does come from option trading and a little bit of day trading on the side. First off, we come to Energy Transfer. For those that are knowledgeable on the channel, you'll know that I've talked about this one before. It's a company that I can stand behind and have stood behind for a very long time, which has given me a unique opportunity to study the stock for a very, very long period of time. This benefits me a lot when it comes to my option trading and day trading, as ET is generally the stock that I'll do that on. Next, we are following it up with NRZ, or New Residential Investment. They are a real estate investment trust that focuses solely on the residential side. You guessed it. They are a great company that, as you can see, has made me a whole hell of a lot of money, and frankly, I kind of kick myself for not investing more. Next up, we have Stag Industrial. For those of you that are friends of the channel, you'll know that I have talked about this before, and it's another stock that I would highly recommend. It is a little bit different from NRZ, which is a real estate investment trust. This is, as you might have guessed from the headline here, it's an industrial trust. They focus on real estate acquisition for industrial companies to lease and rent from. Next up, we have SPHD. It is a great ETF that is one of the highest dividend returning ETFs that is available on the market. It takes the 75 highest paying dividend stocks in the S&P 500 and then takes the 50 of those that are the least volatile, mashes them up into an ETF, and pays a rather decent dividend return of nearly 6%. There's one thing that is time proven to beat actively managed funds, and that is an overall market ETF. They are safe, they offer high dividends. Overall, they are a great spot to dump your money. And lastly, we have Dow, another one of my more recent investments. While they're a technology and science company, I don't have as much research into them as I do, say, ET and NRZ. This is a company that I've kind of known for a little bit and grown to love them over the last month and a half. I genuinely think that they're a good company that has very strong room for growth once the markets kind of come back. While nobody knows how long that time frame is, once that happens, a lot of these stocks will rally very heavily in terms of their return percentage to you. Warren Buffett famously said, "Be fearful when people are greedy, but greedy when people are fearful." This pertains very, very well to the current conditions in the market. People are scared to put their money in. I can understand why. You've seen the tanks that happen week in and week out for the last month. But now that things are starting to settle out and we're starting to come back up in terms of the overall Dow and NASDAQ, I think it's time to actually genuinely think about putting money into the market. Why would you do this? Because your returns can be like this. I've had an incredible month in the stock market and have made several months worth of rent, and I'm putting it aside and starting to put more into the market, as it's a great time to do so. I'm not saying that I can judge and perfectly time when the market's gonna rally. Nobody can. Warren Buffett can. He has no idea if the market's gonna go up or down tomorrow. Nobody does. So while I'm telling you to put your money in the market, isn't me telling you as a financial analyst. I'm not saying you should put your money in the market because I'm thinking the market's gonna go up. You should put your money in because it's the right thing to do. The more time you have your money invested, the higher your percentage gains will be in the grand scheme of things. Whether you're invested for 5 years or 55 years, it doesn't matter. Time in the market will always beat time outside the market. You can't gauge when it's gonna go up or down, so why would you try? Just put your money in the market and let it work for you. That's the easiest way to do so. That being said, y'all, I hope that one person can at least take something away from this and help build their own portfolio and help increase their own net worth over the course of the next few months. And if that happens, I'll be super happy, but I'm guessing that a few more of you might actually be able to take something away from this and hopefully apply it to your own lives. That being said, guys, thanks so much for watching. Please do not forget to smash that like button. Just beat it into submission. And do not forget to hit that little bell notification so you can stay up to date with all things that are Cowboy Cayman, because you hate to miss another video like this. You really would. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great rest of your week. Here's the next one.